Hey, Zeal, it's Carrie from Zebra on the Loose. Just connecting and reaching out to you guys to let you know about some upcoming things that are pretty cool and somewhat exciting. So, by now, you know, we do have the channel launched, the YouTube channel Zebra on the Loose, and you can watch the intro video to learn a little bit about what the channel's purpose is. And then I'll also be putting out another video, a little bit about my background so you understand why it is that I would be making this channel and what would give me the ability to do so. What's my education? What's my background, etc. I am going to be transparent. I did just sit down in this chair this is take two because I sat down in the chair to get started, and it's a massage chair, and I hit the massage button, so the chair started going, yeah, that wasn't going to work for a video. In any case, it is what it is. But in the meantime, I did manage to pull my neck muscle during that process. You go figure. Welcome to Zebraland. In any case, we'll make it through. So, wanted to just welcome you and share a little bit about the goal. In that last video, we introduced the purpose of, what Zebra on the Loose is about. But step two is I really want to share with you what my goal is and what my hope is. So, reality is doing all of this, to do it well, is going to take some dedication, some time, some focus, because I want to serve all of you well, and I want to really invest appropriately and bring resources forward that are valuable and helpful. So to do that, that means I need to start, looking at how do I leave a position where I'm working night shift and I'm working full time and all of those pieces as a bedside nurse. And in reality, we all know that, number one, I'm 47, so I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. I am a grandma. Yes, believe it or not, I am. But reaching that point that I need to be able to shift gears and be self-sustaining by doing other work like this. So to do that, I need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours to begin that process with YouTube for revenue generation, and to even be able to branch then into Facebook and some other places. So I'm really hoping I can count on you to help with sharing the link, encouraging others to subscribe, and going ahead and clicking the subscribe button below for yourself, and then hitting that alert bell so that you can start watching those videos. Heck, I don't care if you put them on background and watch it the first time and let it play and play and play. I know that's kind of like asking for a $5 at the car dealer for good service, but it's what it is. In any case, I look forward to that idea. I know it's a big target, but it can happen. And Todd, my husband, always says anything can happen in the land of make believe. Of course, that actually originally came from Mr. Rogers, but he's kind of adopted it as his own of late. However, there is another person, an American entrepreneur businessman named Peter Drucker, and he actually said the best way to predict the future is to create it. And I have learned with a lot of hard work and when you see something coming down the road, then if you plan for it, if you're the first to the table, if you're the one that's creating that change, then you have a lot to say in how it's designed and what occurs. So, that shifts a little bit in the fact that I'm recognizing that our healthcare structure is changing. We're losing a lot of folks in healthcare. We have a lot of folks that are getting ready to retire. Like I said, I'm 47. I've been a nurse 22 years. So I have quite a bit of experience. There are going to be others that are even more experienced than me, and many of us are shifting gears. Certainly in the world of COVID, there's been a lot of challenge, and many impacted health wise, and not to mention having complex illnesses anyway, and whether that be Ehlers-Danlos or other conditions, there's so many who are having to re-navigate their world in this new pandemic world. So like I said, I'm looking for your help. I really want to create a robust channel that can be accessed, whether it's a person that's all new to chronic illness or new to Ehlers-Danlos or just getting their feet wet in that world. That can be really overwhelming, and folks can really struggle with, where do I go for good information that is reliable, that is based on research, that is clear. So I want to be able to provide that. It can also be, that those that have been navigating chronic illness or chronic disease for a long time, you're looking for a way to turn over a new stone, something else that you haven't tried, or you've got a pretty good handle, and it's just wanting to add a little bit more to your toolbox. And the great part is, even, on days that maybe you're feeling crummy, that you just don't feel like you can even get out of bed, well, that's a day you could grab one of these videos and just take a listen and maybe find some encouragement. Not all of the videos I do or post will be specific topics of, medically related, but many of them will be maybe just spur of the moment, things that come up, thoughts that come up, and that I feel like are worth sharing, or that kind of, maybe those moments that I call God wink moments, where something happens that maybe is just a real blessing and you can't explain it that day. Those all become ways that we encourage one another, and I want to be able to share those with you. So, behind me, you may be seeing, hey, there's some things on the wall back there. So, behind me, there are 24 topics that I already have in the works that I want to go over. See my high tech world here? Woohoo! I'm an artist. Can you tell? That's kind of what my thing is to do. So, anyways, there's a whole bunch of topics here that I already have underway that I'm in the process of developing. I've got probably a half dozen to a dozen more that are initial glimmers in my brain to share with you as well. So I will tell you about those that are already listed here. I'll put them down in the description so you can take a look and see what are other videos you're going to want to come back for later. As having good content to come back for is what draws you back, right? If it's meaningful, you'll come back for it. If it doesn't help you, then it's not worth the trouble. So I really want to make sure that that's meaningful for you. Part of what will make that happen will be for you to comment in the comment section below and let me know what are topics that maybe aren't in this list that would really be helpful to you. If you say, I wish someone would tell me more about this, put that in the comments. Or if you say, I need to know how to overcome such and such. Well, what is such and such? Put it down in that comments. Pardon me with the neck spasm. So put those down in the comments, and I'll work to get content out for you as soon as I possibly can in those areas too. So just sharing, what are those topics that are up there? They kind of fall into three broad buckets. One is healthcare related. So how do I talk to my doctor? I want to share with them this new research I found. I want to share this situation or this experience. How do I make that happen in a way that he's going to listen or she's going to listen and value what I have to say and not think of me as that person that's just trying to make their life difficult? How do I navigate the healthcare system in general? It's very complicated. In particular, we're going to focus on the US. I don't know other healthcare systems as well. I was on the national health system in the UK for a brief time when I lived in Scotland back in the 90s, but that's been a long time, and I'm sure things have changed. So maybe some of you that are on those systems, perhaps we can do some sort of collab and you can share kind of your expertise in those particular areas. And then we'll talk about, what are the insurance woes? How do we get insurance to pay for what we need to do? It always amazes people when I say, yeah, I've been going to physical therapy for 8 years and I go weekly and my insurance pays for it. Most insurances don't do that. Well, you have to know how to ask for it. You have to know how to advocate for yourself in that. Getting appointment ready. I'm going to go to the appointment. How do I make sure that I walk away with the outcome that I'm hoping for, or the not necessarily the treatment or specific goal that you're hoping for, but the answers to what you need, that you don't walk away feeling like it was a wasted trip. We're going to talk about who can diagnose. And we're going to talk about physical therapy. I've actually got a great team of physical therapists that I work with and have worked with, as I mentioned, for the 8 years that have their doctorates in PT. They have different modalities they specialize in. And so we're going to, do a panel discussion with them. And we'll actually have them help with some different exercises and different pieces on different focal areas at a later point. And doing a great collaborative with one of them who has their own channel and their own information. And then I'm also going to do the same thing with chiropractor. I've been very blessed to be connected well with some chiropractors that I know, including one is my stepfather, and help everybody to understand what is chiropractic, what really goes into it. I think there's a lot of misinformation about what chiropractors are, who they are, what they do, and many folks don't realize how much education they really have. And what their expertise is, how they can be a resource. So want to be sure that we highlight that for you. And then when we look at just in general, managing conditions, there's so many pieces that go into that for each of us. How do we, make sure we fill your toolbox? What exercises are okay? What will work? And, how do you go about working, what works for work, as I think it's up there on top, what works for work. And then surviving travel. You're going to be traveling, or you want to go somewhere. Maybe your friend that's got a wedding coming up and you really want to make it, but you get so exhausted. Well, how do we help you mitigate some of that so that you can go and have a good time and do those things that get you a successful trip in the end? And then we'll talk about what's normal besides the city in Illinois. What is normal? We're going to talk about, is this an EDS thing? I hear that all the time, or I read that all the time in all the different Facebook groups. Is this an EDS thing? Well, we're going to talk about what's an EDS thing versus another chronic health thing versus just, does it always matter what kind of thing it is? So we'll talk through that. We're going to talk about what to know about your meds, when it comes to medications. What are the things to ask? What are the things to know about? And then look at what are associated conditions. So yes, I've now got this diagnosis of Ehlers-Danlos, or I think I have Ehlers-Danlos, but maybe I also have a diagnosis of fibromyalgia or POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or mast cell activation. So maybe I have any of these conditions, or I have a whole host of other autoimmune conditions. Is that all connected? How does that fit? And then when we look at just that day-to-day living, that coping, we'll look at relationships. What are some strategies for successfully navigating those, whether that be a parent-child, whether that be a partner, a spouse, a sister or brother, a coworker, any of those ways that we can support one another. Look at pain and the implications of pain and what we need to know about the different types of pain and how those are managed differently. So often we hear a lot of folks struggle with, this world that we're in now with the narcotic opioid epidemic and overdoses and things. And so it becomes more and more difficult for individuals to get opioid prescriptions. Well, let's talk through what are some strategies for being successful in that, but also, are there other things that do work better? In some cases there are, some cases there are not. All depends on the type of pain you have. And then that dealing with some of those emotional pieces, like they don't believe me. And no is not a 4-letter word. That's an important piece. Being able to, to understand the grief that we walk through, the chronic illness, that, kind of shifting that mindset from chronic illness to chronic wellness. And then looking at that idea that, so often we hear, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, it's really bigger than that. You can't always pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then, no, really just that, I think I said this already, but that no is not a 4-letter word. There are days that we need to use that word, that we need to say, hey, I can't do it today. And we need to go with that. So those are some of the topics that are going to be coming up. Just wanted to share those with you. Keep those in mind, and don't forget that target. Hitting that, we want to hit that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch content in the next 30 days. The sooner we reach that, the better. But I really want to think about what's a way we can celebrate that when we all hit that target together. What's something fun that I can do in a video that will help to celebrate that achievement, and we'll figure out a way to celebrate that. The sooner we get that achievement, if we get it earlier in the month, the better the celebration will be. We'll have a little more time to plan it. So start thinking about those ideas, because we'll do a video about that as well, because I want to hear from you. What are some ways we can potentially celebrate hitting that achievement, and that we take the chance to make this channel for everybody and what we want it to be. So I hope you have a blessed night. I gotta go. Gotta get ready for another night shift, 12 hours of taking care of folks on the night shift. So I'm gonna get changed and head out for that. But just want to let you know I'm thinking about you, and I am looking forward to hearing more about your journey, your story, and how we can partner together to kind of put some hoofbeats to ground there and become zebras on the loose. Check you later. Bye.